Oh, that's okay. That's a fun one. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Undertaker more recently. If somebody comes over and I'm like, I don't recognize this person, I'm like, this is like a contract killer, basically. I'm like, this is hanging out with Travis Pastrana at NASCAR. like I'm just like filming weird videos with him while he's driving the Daytona 500 and stuff. Bam Margera lived with us for like 2 months. I want to go see if I can't break that record, but I want to do it with the actual stone.
We have with us today one of the funniest individuals on the face of this planet, as well as a guest, Caleb Francis. He is someone that I have followed for years. Saw one of his videos years ago, been a fan of his. He was from West Virginia. That's where he grew up. And then he moved to Texas and made it possible for us to do a little collab. Maybe you've seen our videos on the internet together, on Instagram, on TikTok. And now we get to hear his story and how he responds to a very interesting line of questioning. I'd like to thank Rodeo Time Apparel for bringing this podcast. Check out rodeotime.com. We got new styles that dropped, T-shirts, caps, hoodies, all the things. Get a cowboy hat, get a koozie, get a mug, rodeotime.com. Also, Ranch Fuel. Crack a cold one, old son, and drink yourself a Ranch Fuel via ranchfuel.com. And Total Feeds, Can-Am Side-by-Sides, American Hats, Rock and Roll Denim, and Mountain Op Supplements. Now let's hear from Caleb.
No, Barnes Courtney is his name. Barnes Courtney. But, yeah, I didn't realize I already had like a few of his songs.
What made that one your favorite?
Dude, he is like so easy to talk to. Like a lot of times we have guests on there that I'm like, I don't even know who they are. And not to sound like, you know, like a pretentious or something, but like a lot of times it's like people that are his friends or that he knows and I've never heard of them. I'm like, oh, sure. Like this is going to be hard for me to talk to them because I have no clue who they are. So I like try and watch some of their stuff like the day before and be like, okay. But he just like, he would get guests just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And it'd be like a lot of people like didn't really mesh, like, cause we get really weird on there.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like they wouldn't even hardly speak the whole podcast. So we're like, oh, that was a bad idea.
Have you ever done any you didn't put out?
No. Thankfully, yeah. We've done every one of them. We're like, whatever. Let's throw it out.
How many have y'all done?
We just hit a year. Our year episode was like right before we took that little break. Yeah. So, however many weeks in a year plus 2. So
you do one a week?
Yeah.
That's the goal?
Yeah, usually we, like when we're doing it right, we'll film sometimes 2 or 3 episodes in a week.
Yeah.
Like depending on how many guests we have come through, or if we just want to like, we know we're going to be traveling and we'll try and bang them out. But this last time we just weren't ready for it. It was like surprise events. They were like, hey, you guys are going to be gone for weeks. Right. So.
Well, at the beginning, I usually try to like, what do you got? You got anything you need to tell us about?
Like fun stuff I'm working on? Or
what's your plug? You got anything you need? Yeah, I mean, like, I know you may have an energy drink one coming out.
Yeah, that's, I've got some.
But anything out right now that?
No, not really, man. Like, you know, like obviously, like I've got a new line of clothing coming out with 9 Line Apparel. So that'll be like, I'll be pushing that a lot. Like I'll have my party button down coming out. That's like black tiger with like some fuchsia in it that looks really, really cool. I'll have a few other shirts and hats coming out with them soon once we finalize like on some, you know, patterns and things that I like. So yeah, I started a new deal with them. So I'll be traveling and filming with them a lot, but like nothing crazy right now. The energy drink is like the main thing, but now that has become, I've switched with who I'm going to be doing that with, and now it's become energy drink and supplements. Mm. So I'm really pumped about that.
So basically just follow you everywhere.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's like, man, it's like almost too much. Honestly, it's like almost everything I'm doing is like a plug of some kind for some company I work for.
Right.
So I like trying not to be like, yeah, Pit Viper, 9 Line, Black Rifle, like, you know, all my freaking sponsors and stuff. So.
Well, that's because everybody wants to work for you because years ago you started making videos.
Yeah.
So, man, I think the first one I saw of yours was, I mean, it had to be in like 2018,
Dude,
2017?
It was when my videos were first blowing up that we first kind of started communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about just the beginning of like becoming an influencer is what we are.
Yeah, pretty much. Dude, I've been doing the videos and stuff since I was like, 12 or 13.
Okay.
And me and my friends would just make goofy videos. You know, we kind of like would try to replicate. You know, that's when Jackass was really popular. So we kind of do like children versions of that.
Yeah.
But we'd like do some of our own things too that we were popular in our hometown for. Like I did one that is called Barracuda Storm, and it was like a play on Bear Grylls. But I was like a survival guy who like didn't know what the hell he was doing. Like I was always like messing up and eating the wrong thing. And I like we're talking about revitalizing that here soon and like kind of going hard on it and doing like survival show where I kind of just like mess everything up.
How old were you?
Dude, I was like 13. I'm eating like the wrong things and I'm like, oh look, you know, here's some quicksand. You got to be really careful for like when you run into this, like don't, but I like jump into it and then I jump head first. I'm like just sinking. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I messed up. I'm like, this is exactly what you don't want to do. And I'm like my face is like sinking down, just mud in the creek basically. Yeah. And I'm just rolling around in it. I'm like, well, this is how you get out. But yeah, dude, those were really fun, and like I did like an Australian accent when I would do those, and it was just like awful. I was like a child doing an Australian accent. Dang. So yeah,
Cole, will you check the audio just real quick?
We got like popular in our hometown doing that kind of stuff. And as I got older, man, I just kind of kept doing them. And then once like I got that first iPhone that could record. Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, 2 or 3. That finally they had like an app that you could download that would make it record video. I started recording some videos with that and like able to do selfie stuff. And then my sophomore year of college was when I started getting really back into it, like filming my own stuff. I had that West Virginia dad character. Yeah, it was just based on like really redneck guys that would come into like work and things like that. It's just like most of the lines I used were just real things that these dudes said. Because I worked at an auto shop, like Advance Auto, and they would come in and ask for the craziest stuff, man. Like there was one guy that would come in, and if we could see him coming, like we'd try and walk to the back, like that way somebody else had to deal with him. But he'd come in. I remember one day he walked in and he would just like looked at the antifreeze rack and was like, "Hey, y'all got that antifreeze that kills dogs?" and me and my like manager, who was like one of my buddies, we just looked at each other and we're like, what? He's like, yeah, you can soak some meat in it, toss it to a dog, and it'll die. And we're like, no.
You want me to spill this out for you, sir? Yeah. What do you mean, what?
Yeah, we're like, no. He's like, He's like, dang. He's like, my neighbor's dog got in here and killed a bunch of my fighting chickens. He's like, and they were expensive. He's like, I'm just gonna kill his dog. And we were like, holy crap, man! Like he left, and we were like, should we call the cops? Like we didn't even know what to do, dude. But that was the kind of group that came in there all the time. It was dudes who ran auto shops out of their garage at their house. Yeah, and they didn't know what they were doing, so they'd come in and buy a bunch of stuff, get the wrong parts, return it an hour later and be like, I didn't need none of this. Buy 20 other things, and we're like, all right. So, yeah, dude, they come in with spit running down their face, like just dripping off their chin. And that was how my first videos came out, where I was doing the chewing tobacco, the Yeehaw Chew that I made. And I'd be talking, and I'd be spitting chew out the whole time I was talking. It's literally just a stream pouring off my face. And I'd get so sick after filming those videos, man, because I would go and buy a Red Man to do it. And I remember one day I filmed a video, and I kept doing takes on it. And I had to stop because I was getting so sweaty and like sick, and I had to just go in the house and lay down there. And I just like laid there for like 2 hours, like spinning, dude. I was like, oh my God, I was like, I messed up. But yeah, those were like my videos that first took off. And what happened was I had one do good where I came up with the new chews, like the new flavors of chew that I called Yeehaw Chew, and it was doing really good. I was like, crap. I was like, they're liking these. I was like, I'll make a few more. I made one more, and then Emery King messaged me, and he's like, dude, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to share this on my page. He's like, and trust me, he's like, it's going to go viral. He's like, so, and he even called me. I was at work. He called me. He's like, all right, man. He's like, I just watched your videos for like 2 hours. He's like, I've been pissing myself laughing. He's like, you're going to be really popular. He's like, so get ready. He's like, I'm going to see if I can't help a little bit. and he was like, "This is what you need to do in your Facebook settings right now because it's going to get crazy." He like told me all the things like the notifications that I need to turn off and like how to set up my messages. Like he's like, "Do you do all this right now while I'm talking to you?" He's like, and then he's like, "I'm going to share your video in a minute." And I was like, all right. And he shared it, and that video had like, God, I was getting thousands of friend requests like immediately. And that video got like 2 or 3 million views like overnight. Like I posted.
Which in what year would have been bananas?
Yeah, it was 2017 or 18.
Yeah, a lot of
yeah. So on Facebook too. So I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, that's
who is Emery King?
Dude, did you ever see the videos? He would talk about his Chevy Silverado. He called it the Silverado. And he'd be like, there's tornadoes in the engine. And like, he was just like making fun of truck
familiar.
guys. Yeah, man. He still is like popular on quite a few pages. He just gets in trouble a lot on his pages for like saying
At first I
stuff.
thought maybe, have you seen the Topher guy?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Emery. Yeah, he's like real popular. He did a bunch of those videos. He had a lot of really funny viral stuff. He's an awesome guy. But he helped that video get like blown up, and then I slowly just started introducing my other stuff over the years. And then when TikTok came out, it blew up real quick.
Yeah,
and that just helped everything.
That was maybe like a week. You were probably swimming in it.
Yeah. I was I was doing the Facebook videos for maybe a year and a half before TikTok came out.
Yeah, and
then it blew up really quick. Just like. And that's the kind of content that I wanted to make. And that's what I was making originally, was shorter stuff, like, 30, 40-second long videos. And once they started taking off on there, man, I started getting like some sponsors. They're like, dude, like, like, we love your hats that you wear. Let us send you some hats. Or, like, hey, man, can you like wear our shirt? Like, simple stuff like that. And it just kind of like kept going, and I kept meeting people. And then, went and filmed some stuff with the Diesel Brothers and in Utah. That was a lot of fun. And then Jared, me and him have been communicating for a couple years, and he's like, dude, we gotta get you to come in here and film with us for Black Rifle at some point. And after COVID cleared up was when I went down, and I just was supposed to come down and film like being like 1 or 2 little ad videos they wanted me for, and I was only supposed to be there for 4 days, dude. And I was there, we filmed the stuff, it went really well, like I was hitting it off with everybody. And he's like, well, we've got another guest coming next week. Like, I'd love for you to meet them too. Why don't you stay and meet them and film with them? And I'm like, all right, cool. And then like Black Rifle would give me like a bunch of their clothes. And they're like, we know you just came for like 3 days, so here's some clothes. I was like, oh, cool. So I got like a whole new wardrobe. And then that just kept happening. They were like, well, also we've got this event that we're putting on here next week if you want to stay for that. Well, I'm throwing this big thing at my house this next week if you want to stay for that. And I was like, all right. Dude, I ended up being in there for like 3 months, just like living in like the guest house, or well, it was the main house at that time.
Same compound that I went to.
Yeah. And then finally they're just like, dude, like, we just want to give you a full-time job. Like, everybody likes you, and like you're fitting in well. Like, if you want to just move down here, dude, he's like, you can stay in this room until you get situated and whatever. And I was like, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So that was like the dream, because it was just like all these like other creators that lived in the town.
Yeah.
I was hitting off with all of them, dude. It's so cool because, I'm from super small town, West Virginia, and there wasn't nobody doing any of this stuff like that back home, or even that I even really know of now. Like, there's a few people there, but I think they've moved from West Virginia at this point. But to accelerate in this career, like, it's good to be in a place where you've got people to do things that are like similar minded. And,
for sure.
Yeah. So all my stuff has grown so much from being down here, just from all the opportunities that I have and all the people I get to meet. And like, people see me hanging out with this group. They're like, oh, cool. I didn't know you were into that. Let me send you this. And it's just spiraled, man. It's like, now I've got gun companies just sending me, like, I had like 3 guns when I moved down, dude. Just like basic stuff, like I hunted growing up, like I got a shotgun, a rifle, and like 2 revolvers. I've got like almost 100 guns now that mostly companies have sent me just to use in videos. And then like optics companies and suppressors, and like a safe company gave me a safe, and I filled it up in like 6 months just from free guns and stuff. And I'm just like, this is insane. Like, it's gnarly. Like, I'm having to give away bags of clothes all the time, or like go donate them, because because like so many companies are sending me clothes and stuff all the time. I'm like, I can't wear all this. Like, this is too much. Like, I get it. Like, new products we're trying to promote, but like, oh my God.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's just, obviously it's so blessed, but so crazy that it got to this. This was the dream for sure. This is what I always hoped to get to. Yeah, just like, so like, it's still like surreal all the time.
I was telling somebody how much of a it's what have you done for me lately game too.
Oh yeah.
Like if you did go on vacation and you stopped posting for like 10 days, like to some people, like you don't exist anymore.
Oh, dude, yeah, it happened, especially like with streaming for sure.
I bet.
Yeah, streaming became like my main income during COVID. Like it was popping off. It was good because everybody was just stuck in the house watching stuff like that. So streaming became a huge income for me for a while. It was growing really well. I even had like a lot of sponsors just for stream. I still do, but like, God, now the way that I like travel and things like that, like there'll be some months that I only stream 2 or 3 times, and I almost feel guilty for it. But yeah, dude, like I had a really good following that I was growing on Twitch, and like if I would not stream for like a week, I'd be dwindling, dude. Like I'd be down to a fourth of those viewers.
Dang.
So it's like they get used to you being their every night show, and if you're not there for a week, they're like, well, I got to watch a new show. Like I got to find something else, and then they get hooked on the new show. And that's pretty much how it is with all the content too. They're like, I haven't seen this guy in a while, so I'll find somebody else to fill that, that gap.
Do you do? I know you got the podcast. I've consumed the short form for so long.
Yeah.
Do you do any long form on YouTube?
Yeah,
like
man.
vlogs?
That was stuff that I've been focusing on this year. There was a couple months that I didn't get to do it because I was traveling so much, and we were filming so much for every company that I worked for like 3 months in a row that I just didn't do any YouTube stuff. But I filmed 2 YouTube videos in the last like couple days.
Yeah, like vlogs.
No, I do a little bit of everything, man. Like some of them are vloggy, some of them are like very specific for like a a gun thing that we're doing, like kind of because YouTube is a lot more lenient with the gun stuff. They still have a lot of restrictions, but it works on there.
Yeah.
So like I'll do some stuff with guns and things that all these companies have sent me, and we'll do goofy stuff with them. Like I'm like blowing up jars of mayonnaise, like I'm putting explosives in mayonnaise, and we're throwing up in the air and shooting with shotguns and stuff. Just like we're doing goofy stuff. Like I built a bird, like I bought a High Point, which you've heard of a High Point, right? It's like the brick of guns.
For sure.
And I just used it to build an entire birdhouse. So like I used it as a straight edge, and then I like shot through the wood, like it was like 30 or 40 bullets like for each cut. And then I used it as a hammer to nail the boards together. And then I just like set it on a table and put a bunch of cans of spray paint next to it and just shot a bunch of cans of spray paint so it would like blast it with paint. It looks like trash, but it's like, it's got a full bird nest in it, and like they've had babies and stuff. I'm like, oh, they love it, dude. So it's hanging up in a tree over at the farm.
So that's one of your long forms?
Yeah, that was one of the long form videos. Yeah, it was fun, man. Like we'll do some goofy stuff like that, and I've got a lot of really fun ones planned now that I'm getting more on a good schedule with my content, and now that like it's working out this way because a lot of the companies that I work for like full time are like starting to be like, all right, let's just make it to where you're making videos and we're the number one sponsor for that video. I'm like, oh, cool. They're like, we'll pay for whatever you need for that video. You just be branded out in our stuff, have flags or whatever, as like, and that'll be content for us that we can cut up, use, or however, and then it's on your page, and we'll help promote it so it's growing your page too. Yeah. But we're not directly connected with it, so it can't affect us negatively if you're like too goofy or like too crazy or something. I'm like, cool. So that's like, that'll be the new thing that I'm working on with a few of the companies I work with is doing like sponsored videos, and that way I can kind of dump some money into them, pay a really good editor and videographer, and then who
do you use for those? You got to go to videographer.
Yeah. Honestly, it's my it's like one of my best friends from growing up. He always had like an eye for like editing goofy videos and stuff like that. Like if I did something, sometimes he would make me send him the video and he'd edit it and make it insane, just like and goofy. And I was like, dude, if you learn to do this with like big camera and like start using the editing software, he's like, I can pay you to do this for me like full time. So that was the plan for a few years. And now like I moved him down about 6 months ago and put him in an apartment, and now he just works for me full time. Just being my videographer and editor. Got like a really nice camera set up, and we got a couple of different editing softwares that we use, and he's like, we're kind of learning it together, which makes it a little more fun, so that I can be like, I can know what to say exactly like what I want. And we're like, working on the thumbnails, because we got a lot of friends that make the thumbnails really nice. So we're like upping our thumbnail game on this next video, and just really like honing in and learning on with it, dude. Because so many of our friends up there, like huge on YouTube. And I'm like, man, that's where I need to be focusing, because that's where you get the money and that's where you get the big sponsors. And once you grow that, like I don't have to rely on working for so many companies. So I'm not like just an advertisement all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and I can focus on my own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what do you advise, like having been through and made the circles, like you've got the full-time creator role.
Yeah.
You got paychecks coming from multiple streams based on, the one thing, which is making content. Like, what would your advice be to like a young guy in 2024 who wanted to, is it
to do content?
Yeah.
Dude, all the short form stuff is killer right now. So like if you can get on that, you've got Reels on Instagram, Reels on Facebook. Snapchat is a huge one right now too, man. Like I've been trying to focus on, I'm almost at like 100,000 followers on Snapchat.
Dang.
And it can pay really well too.
Yeah.
Your video gets like pushed, like it pays like really well. So dude, if I make like a short that I think could hit it off with like, multiple audiences, I post it everywhere immediately. I'm like YouTube shorts, both Reels, TikTok, Snapchat. That's pretty much everywhere that I use, and just post regularly. Even if you don't think it's like an amazing idea, keep posting, because it'll keep you in that algorithm. And you'll keep growing no matter what. Like even if your video isn't that great, it's going to be awesome to somebody. Like there's plenty of times that I run into somebody and they'll be quoting a video of mine and I have no clue what they're talking about. Like they say something insane and I almost get like mad. I'm like, what the hell did you say to me? They're like, no, I'm quoting a video that you did. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, what was this video? And they're like, they're like, yeah, you did this. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. I vaguely remember, but like, yeah, that goes on, like videos that I was just like, oh, that's so stupid, but whatever. Like that's some people's favorite videos.
Right.
And so like, don't overthink it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing is people like think that they need to edit the videos like so crazy, or it needs to be the best quality and all that stuff. Dude, like even now, even with the quality of stuff that we use, my phone stuff still does 10 times better. I can have a phone camera covered in chicken grease and film a video and it'll be more viral than something that's in 5K and I'd spent weeks working on. So yeah, just if you think it's funny or good at all, just post it, keep posting, and it'll grow.
How often do you try to put, like ideally?
Man, like I wish I were a person who posted every day, but if I post 3 or 4 times a week, I'm like, cool. Like,
Gotcha.
I'm like, that's...
Is that every platform?
Yeah, like I try to, like, and then the majority of them I can, like, if I make one video, I can usually post it onto all of my pages.
Yeah.
Because it's such different audiences on all of them. Like, my Facebook audience compared to TikTok is obviously, like, probably almost completely different, just because, like, the ages on them. And then same with YouTube. Like, YouTube is drastically different than my Instagram or TikTok audience. So...
Donnie, will you make sure the AC's on?
Yeah, they're all so different. So I'll just try and post them everywhere anytime I make any kind of video. But and another thing is making the long form content is cool, and like I try to keep it in mind when I'm making it, because you can make so many clips from it. Yeah. And that's like, you just get, if you have a video that's really interesting, you can get 10 or 20 reels out of it sometimes, and then that pushes them to the whole video.
Right.
Like if you get some kind, especially like with podcasts, like that's a big thing that we need to focus on with our podcast, is getting those really good one-liners or some really funny moment or something really interesting from the podcast or a section of a YouTube video, and cutting that into a nice looking reel and then posting that everywhere, because that'll blow up and they're like, well, crap, I want to hear what the rest they were talking about, or I want to see the rest of the video, and it'll push them to your long form stuff. Yeah. So yeah, definitely, think of that when you're making long videos. Think of a thing you can do in that can be a hook in a reel. Yeah. And then it'll start just getting traffic all over the place.
What do you have planned, like, over the next year? You have anything specific that
Yeah,
you're
man.
trying to?
My biggest thing that I've like, because I want to have my own company, my own brand, and like I've got it, like I've got my Grizzly Puncher stuff with everything, right? Like that's my stream name, that's my Beard Care line. Anytime I do a collab with companies, it's usually Grizzly Puncher. Like that's my 9-line stuff. I like my Grizzly Puncher button down. I've got a flannel coming out with Dixon. That's a Grizzly Puncher flannel. So that's like my branding. I'm working on a energy drink and supplement company that'll be like Grizzly or Grizzly Puncher. Because if I can keep it Grizzly, I can make Punch one of the flavors, and it'd be Grizzly Punch. But just do like probably a lot of bear themed things. But without giving too much away, that's what I'm working on is the energy drink. That's my like ultimate goal. I love energy drinks. I'm drinking them. I work with so many energy drink companies. Yeah. It's something that I drink every day. I genuinely love a good energy drink. So, and
that'd be cool for you to be able to promote your own thing.
Oh yeah, man! It'll give me like a different sense of drive.
100%
with it too, because I'm like, this is mine. I want it to be successful. I know what I need to do to make it work, and then just like the fact of there are so many energy drink companies out there now, and like a lot of them, like they don't do like a whole lot of advertising anymore. Like you've got, everybody knows Red Bull, everybody knows Monster, and a handful of others, but like those are the two that you think of because they did such killer advertising to begin with, and like they don't really have to try that hard anymore. But there's just like so many funny, cool ways to advertise things now, especially with the internet, that like I know I could like crush it if I did it right. And just all the people that I'm friends with now, like that I can get to be a part of it, like people that I can sponsor, and kind of like, I'm a part of like the, powerlifting community and like gaming and the military and like, the comedy. And like, we just have like a little bit of everything that's in our group there. So I'm just like, man, like I have access to all these different people and like all these different things. Like I know I could make like all the motorsports guys, like I could work with all these guys and just make a really killer energy drink and supplement line that crushes, and the advertising is fun and funny and like memorable.
Yeah.
So that's my main goal over like this year, is to get that up and going.
Yeah.
So
what's been the main, like how different has life been moving from West Virginia to Texas?
Like not like crazy, like with the lifestyle that we live and like, our friends, it's obviously very different because even like, these guys like that I'm with, like they're friends with like famous people, like just show up all the time. Like, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like just random celebrities will be there some days.
Like who?
Like they'll be like Jack Osborne was there one day. Like I just walked in and I was like, oh, Jack Osborne. And like Bam Margera lived with us for like 2 months. And like, he would just like come in, like I'd be working out and he'd come in and do his like, he had his like stretch coach there. There's like, he's getting he's been sober for so long, like all the drinking and kind of like messed with his ligaments, like tightened them up. So he would stretch a lot and then he'd go skate. He'd just be in there stretching while I'm like working out and stuff, talking to me like, like normal, like we're just bros or something. And it's
Pastrana
so funny.
Came through when I was there.
Yeah, Travis will come and stay for like a week at a time. And now finally, like, a lot of these guys are so popular and meet so many people that like they phase you out immediately. Like they meet you and then like your name is already gone. Like after you're done shaking hands, like I don't know you, and I get that. But now it's like to the point where like we've hung out so many times, like we're actually friends. So it's like weird. Like when he comes and hangs out, he's like, Caleb, like, dude, he's like, are you gonna be cooking while I'm here, man? Like I love your cooking, and like I'm just like, he's like, are you gonna bake anything? And I'm just like, yeah, probably. He's like, all right, hell yeah. So it's just like weird watching like a lot of people that like I looked up to, growing up, like people like from Jackass and Viva La Bam, like Nitro Circus, and like all these guys are like just there hanging out, and they're like fans of me now too, or we're like buddies, or they'll like come in and be like, dude, I saw that video you did and I like laughed my ass off. So I was like showing my mom, I was like, man, this is so weird. Like just like, and my friends like from back home would be like, what the hell, man? You're just like hanging out with Travis Pastrana at NASCAR, and like I'm just like filming weird videos with him while he's driving the Daytona 500 and stuff, and because I did a video with him where I was like his pre-race doctor or something. And he came in. I was like, all right. I was like, get naked. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, come on, get naked. I was like, I got to weigh you. And I was like, these clothes are heavy. He's like, all right. And I didn't like make him step on a scale. I just picked him up and held him. And it like we made it look like he was just butt naked. And I'm just like holding him like, all right, yeah, you feel about right. He's like, what? And he like walks out and somebody's like, that's not a doctor. And he's like, who was that? Like, we don't know. But it was just like a such a weird video to be able to make with Travis.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I was just cracking up the whole time. So yeah, just stuff like that is so insane. And like, yeah, like even just, yeah, like Barnes Courtney was there. And it's like a dude, like, I didn't know the name, but I had multiple of his songs like on my Spotify, like for God, like a couple of years.
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, I was like, I know this guy. I was like, I've listened to his music for a long time. He's like, yeah, he's coming to hang out. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like that stuff. And they're like, now, like me and you hanging out, like,
right,
dude, like we became fans of each other like the same time.
Yeah, the internet connecting
yeah, like
us
yeah.
wild.
And I was just like, yeah. So like, you know, now I've watched the majority of your stuff. I've watched your show on Netflix and like all this stuff. So it's like, even this is like weird. It's like, it's like, wow, you're just like hanging out with like people like you look up to, or like you like enjoy their stuff, and like you kind of like already really know them from watching their stuff for so long. And then it's like, oh, now we're bros in real life.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's wild, man.
Yeah.
It's all the time. It's kind of like blowing my mind.
It makes you think, like, if you ever maybe gonna like reference someone, for instance, in a video, podcast, a story, whatever, and you wait because like, no, because I might meet that person.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Have you done that?
That happened recently because we were, God, who was it? We were talking about something. We were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't say that because like we might actually meet that person.
Yeah.
We were making some kind of joke on the podcast, and we like made him cut it. We're like, don't leave that in there because like I think we might actually hang out with him at some point.
Right.
But yeah, man, like that's like
that's a thing you got to think about.
Yeah, all these
now.
yeah, because like, dude, I never know who I'm going to run into now because like, you know, with some of these companies are huge companies, and through them I meet like major famous people or like really rich people.
Yeah.
That like, you know, I don't even know.
Right.
And so like a lot of times I like try to watch what I say, you know, making like, you know, joke wise or like talking about certain people. Because I'm like, oh crap! What? Okay, just like for, you know, for an example, the guy we were talking to, Barnes Courtney, is such a funny story. Like, you know who Jude Law is?
Oh yeah,
like a great actor. I love him in a lot of his movies. But Barnes is like from the UK originally, and he just had a story about Jude Law. And I was like, oh cool. I was like, yeah, I love that guy. And he's like, oh, you do? He's like, well, listen to this story. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I was at some after party in the UK, and it was, you know, Jude Law was there, and I introduced my girlfriend to him. And he swept her away and got her pregnant. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. He's like, you just stole my girlfriend and got her pregnant like that night. I was like, oh God. He's like, yeah. He's like, and then he's like, she's so hot though. He's like, she somehow seduced me to come back to her after she had the baby. He's like, and then there were like multiple days that I'm like holding this crying baby of Jude Law's, and I'm on the phone with my manager, and the manager's like, why is that baby so loud? He's like, I can't help it. It's Jude Law's baby. Like, I don't know what to do. And I was just like, what? Like, dude, like he was telling me the story, and I was just like, holy crap. He's like, yeah. He's like, it was insane. He's like, so Jude Law kind of sucks. I was like, damn. I was like, man, I was like, Cold Mountain's one of my favorite movies, dude. It's like, I was like, I'm never gonna be able to watch this shit the same. But yeah, dude. Yeah, he's like, I just got Jude Law's baby in my hand. It's like screaming, and but he was like, yeah, he's like that. Obviously, that relationship didn't work out. I was like, yeah, dude. It's like, I was like, but you can't blame her though. It's Jude Law. Like, yeah, like if you're gonna get pregnant by somebody, if you're gonna cheat on your boyfriend and get pregnant by somebody, Jude Law is pretty up there. Like, I think you gotta let that one. Yeah. He was like, yeah. He's like, I don't blame her at all. Like,
yeah. She gets a buy on that one.
Yeah, like, okay, I get it.
I understand.
Yeah, fine.
To be honest, I almost left
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like, man, I was really hoping he was going to pick me. But yeah, just like, how random. Yeah, Enemy at the Gates, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Such a great movie.
So good, dude. So many good movies.
Yeah. I like hanging out with Cowboy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, is who like I get to run into different celebrities with him like all the time. Like and And they all love him.
Yeah.
You know, and he's super cool. Like when we go somewhere he's met so many celebrities. It doesn't really.
Sure.
I mean, he's nice to them, but it's not like he will not forget that his boy is standing there.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just like,
yeah.
hey, David Spade, meet my friend Dale. Like that's the first thing he says.
That's
you know,
so
like,
cool.
He's like, hey, this is my boy. You know.
Yeah.
And then, or he was like, hey, you want to meet Miles Teller? And then we walked over.
Yeah.
You know, and so like. That's been neat getting to hang out with Cowboy. That's the closest I've gotten.
That's awesome.
Which none of them remember who I am at all.
But
it's cool.
They probably will if you like. It's like that thing like I was talking about, like Travis. Like Travis didn't remember who I was the first few times.
Yeah.
But once you're like, oh, this person's going to be around regularly, your brain like clicks and it's like, all right, I'll remember this person now.
Right.
And yeah, like you never know. Like if that keeps happening, like you're probably going to end up being friends with all these guys too. So
maybe one of them.
Yeah, maybe a handful of them. We'll see. Yeah.
I do run into Theo.
Oh yeah, that's fun as hell.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
So like I think it's just like I just kind of keep being there like around us, and he's just like, oh, it's that guy again.
Yeah,
you know? So one of these days maybe I'll just make him a fan.
That was what we were talking about. You were mentioning that, and it's like all of our groups are kind of like we've got the two groups, and then there's like a group in the middle that we're all connected together in with like Joe Rogan and Theo and like Shane Gillis and like all those big comics and like big podcast guys. Like we're just one group away from them.
Yes.
And we have like such a mixed community with both groups that we're like, man, like eventually these groups are going to merge and we're all going to be friends. It's like, so like that's who it was that we were talking about. I was like, we were talking about these guys. We're like, we're near them. Like we're an hour from most of them. I was like, so yeah, we're like,
if you just, especially if you keep working hard, keep your head down, and keep moving forward, that's going to happen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was like one thing I learned with sales. Like in college, I was selling vitamins, you know, and it's just like, you know, no usually means not right now.
Not right now, yeah.
Right, and so like, so long as you're still doing the thing later,
yeah,
you know, and then eventually somebody wants to like get on some type of supplement or whatever, if you're still doing the thing, then when they had said no 3 years before, well, actually it meant not right now.
Yeah, now.
And that's I kind of feel like just in the game of content, if you just keep moving forward, like a lot of those times, like, you know, getting to run into whoever, you know, you getting to do a collab with Shane Gillis might not, you know,
it might not
right
be,
now.
Yeah, sure. Like that's, and just all these guys that we know and like are friends with now, like that could be the ultimate goal. Like that's, you know, having my own company that I really love and having like a sketch comedy show of some sort are like two really huge goals. Like
so would the comedy show like you talking about online?
Yeah, either
or
that
like a
or
Kill
like
Tony.
even not even Kill Tony, like not even like stand up, like sketch comedy where I can, you know, kind of like Tim Robbins has a really good one on I think it's Netflix. I Think You Should Leave Now is the name of the show. Like that's the kind of shit I want to do, man.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that has like shaped me in my brain. Was Tim and Eric Awesome show growing up was like one that I remember like watching it and just being like, this is it. Like this is what is funny to me. And this is like what I like. So like a lot of my like way of thinking and like humor is like those guys. And like I love Will Forte and all the stuff that he's in. And you know, obviously like Will Ferrell and his like group like were really killer when they were doing Talladega Nights and Step Brothers and all that stuff. But that was like hilarious. Like that kind of humor is awesome. But I'd love to have a sketch comedy show at some point, or even just a comedy show that's like written out, and you know have like my friends be a part of it, like all of my like funny friends, where we each play a certain role. Like that's like the dream goal for sure. But like have my own company and eventually some kind of really funny show. Like we'll probably like we're talking about doing it as a YouTube thing to begin with.
Gotcha.
And just doing like an episode a week if we can, and then just seeing how that goes. But yeah, that's the ultimate goal, is to have like a really fun, and we just like we have the means now, like we have access to so much stuff that like every episode could be so wildly different that I was like, we need to just like focus on it. And like, it's just everybody's doing their own thing too. So it's kind of like hard to like get up with everybody.
Oh, like everybody in your circle.
Yeah, like everybody's like, you know, they're working on their channels, they're working on their companies and their brands and like all their sponsors and stuff too. So it's like kind of hard to like
align
make
schedules.
that work right now. So
what about stand up?
Yeah, we've done some stand up lately. We've done like 4 shows now.
Just in y'all's studio?
No, like we did one in Vegas at the House of Blues.
Dang.
I did one at it's the place like right next to Comedy Mothership, the Vulcan.
Okay.
We did the Vulcan in Austin. We did some other little place, but we just we haven't done anymore. Like we did it, and then we all started doing our other stuff, and we just haven't done it in 3-ish months now.
Did you enjoy it?
It's fun, man. It's it's definitely very different, and it's fun because I've always had random little things that I've been I can't really turn that into a video, but that'd be funny for stand up.
Uh-huh.
It's mostly just stories from life that I can exaggerate or not at all, and it seems like I've exaggerated them because they're ridiculous, and then it's just funny. But yeah, that's my style of stand up is storytelling. Basically, that's just insane things that have happened to me or things that I've done.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun. It was 3 or 4 of us that did the stand up that day at the Vulcan, which is a pretty it was what was Comedy Mothership before Comedy Mothership was there. And we did it there one Thursday, and they were like, you guys can come back any Thursday or Friday you want from now on. Just let us know, and you got the place. We had 300 or 400 people there. That was our first one that we planned out and put on.
Yeah.
And it did really well. So, and we all had a good time. It did well. Everybody, did good on their sets.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, man, this would be fun to just hone that as just to have as another skill, because it just gets you thinking quicker, and you got to be witty, and you got to be able to react to people talking to you and stuff. It plays in with the other aspects of comedy too. I never really wanted to do stand up, but I was it'd be good to, because I might like it, and I think it would be good for just my career and my way of thinking.
It kind of aligns.
Yeah. So it was really fun to do. So we want to do it more. We were literally just talking about it last week that we need to plan another show.
Do you feel yourself you don't necessarily maybe feel yourself leaning into that as a career path one day?
No, not really. I like it, but it's not really the kind of comedy I want to do.
Uh-huh.
I want to be able to do the sketch stuff where I plan out something that's ridiculous and really funny and can play that character.
Yeah.
I like the stand-up stuff, and it's there's plenty of stand-up comedians that I really enjoy, but for me the acting aspect is what I really like. That's my element, I think, because I can do the facial expressions and the timing, when I work it out in my head, that's what I want to be able to do.
Yeah.
And so that's the goal for sure. I want to do more stand-up, but the sketch comedy thing is where I'm my heart is really at.
You bet.
Oh yeah.
What about acting?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I don't know, if I'm on that level, I'd definitely have to do some other things first, but being able to be in a comedy movie or even just side characters and stuff like that for a while would be awesome. Just a line or two and some funny thing, that would be incredible. For sure that if that opportunity arose, I'm gonna be yes, absolutely. Because then that can just lead to anything else.
Right.
As soon as you start getting into some movies and you have a noticeable funny line, or you're able to deliver something well that's memorable, that people see that and they're oh, we could use this guy for this part or this part, blah blah, and then it just that's just for example, that's Chris Pratt. He was just a random character in a lot of stuff that delivered a couple lines that were little funny, just witty shit, and then it became a bigger and bigger part in movies and shows, and then he just had his whole character in shows, and then look at how it's he's a Marvel character now.
Right.
So went from just goofy one lines to literal a superhero.
Yeah.
So
the sky's the limit.
Yeah, literally. And same with Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was, in his career he was doing some little commercials and stuff, and then Freaks and Geeks and things like that, and then just bigger movies, and then he became a Marvel superhero. It's you'd never know, and it's cool to see even just the comedy aspect. You don't got to be some just hot dude to be these crazy characters.
Right.
You could be just some funny guy that eventually becomes like the coolest characters in any movie or anything, and it's just, yeah, it's really cool to see that stuff. So like, yeah. Literally the sky's the limit.
Dang,
it's nuts.
So if you're not hanging out with celebrities though, you're hanging out with. I imagine if you see somebody who's not a celebrity with tattoos, real quiet in the corner at y'all's compound, it's probably a blank.
Like a military dude. It's probably like someone who's killed
someone
a lot
up
of people,
close.
like some high up dudes that they've smoked. Yeah. Like that's usually if somebody comes up and I'm like, I don't recognize this person. I'm like, oh, this is like a contract killer, basically. I'm like, he has killed a lot of people. That's usually what it is for sure. Because that's like that whole group is like they were all some particular thing in the military, and they've got all these military friends. So yeah, anytime there's somebody over that, like he'll tell me who they were and or who they are, and I'm like that's not a famous person. I'm like, so this is one of your buddies who kills people. and I'm like, cool. That's like, it's funny though, because a lot of these companies that I work with, they all are really similar and veteran owned, and like a lot of them are like they're just still in that, like they're still
active
and like doing crazy stuff, and it's just nuts to see and like talk to them about it. I'm just like, every time they like do something else, they're like, oh yeah, check out what I was doing. I'm like, oh God. Like, it's nuts. So, but yeah, that's, if it's not a famous person, it's somebody who has definitely killed a lot of people.
Yeah. That's a wild mix.
Yeah, it's
for a room.
Yeah, it is. You know, especially like for me, dude, because I've done neither. Like, I'm just like, yeah, because because I work with so many of these military companies. People are like, oh, like all the time, like what branch were you in? Blah blah. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm just silly.
Yeah,
like, that's
Twitch.
all it is. Yeah, I'm just this little silly boy, dude. That's it. And they're like, oh, what? And I'm like, yeah, man.
I was in the Twitch reserves, baby.
Yeah, dude. Call of Duty, I know about every gun. Yeah.
What do people what's on Twitch outside of gaming? Like, I don't know. I guess I felt
literally
pressure.
Anything. Like, obviously, if you are an attractive female, you can do anything that you've ever wanted. You can do anything on Twitch, and you're gonna be popular, dude. It's awesome. Like, I support that. Like, more power to you. Like, if I was a hot girl, I'd be just doing the silliest things. Yeah, I would just be talking, dude. I'd be painting my nails and stuff, and just talking to people. But yeah, man, there's one guy who's really famous. He's like New Zealand or something, and he like carves stuff out of wood, and he's just like the nicest guy. It's like so pleasant. He's like in his backyard with like there's like palm trees and stuff everywhere, and he's like, people will donate, and he's like, oh, thanks, brother. And then he's like carving stuff. Like, he's super popular. He's really fun. There's people that make knives. Like, people just any kind of hobby you can think of, people will stream it. There's a lot of like workout and gym streamers. Like, I
wonder how they would respond to Rodeo.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like, how would Twitch feel about it? Like, if we like streamed more it's like a practice.
Yeah. As long as it wasn't something that was like, I guess, put on TV,
right?
Because then you'd have to figure out something there.
No,
for
yeah,
sure.
I'm talking about like my house.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And you can build, they call them like backpacks. If you've seen them before, it's just like it's a whole computer backpack. That's meant for streaming, like anywhere you go. It's got like a satellite build up in it, so it like can connect and like you can stream to Twitch and wherever else you want straight from this little backpack that's got like all your stuff on it that you can respond to people and like set up cameras from it and everything. But like, I mean, if you've got the Wi-Fi and stuff that will reach out to wherever you want it, you could just set up a rig somewhere that was easy to reach from wherever you're doing the bull riding and stuff, and just build it out for that. But yeah, a lot of people use those backpack rigs. Like when we do big range days and stuff like that, and there's like hundreds of creators there, a lot of them will bring their backpack rigs and stream it and stuff.
Woo! What a story. Caleb Francis, almost as funny as Dale Brisby. Hey, like to thank Ranch Fuel for bringing this episode of Rodeo Time, as well as American Hats, Total Feeds, Can-Am Side-by-Side, Rock and Roll Denim, and Mountain Ops Supplements. Let's get back to the story, old son.
So,
golly, this last range day, there were so many people
there. The one before that was even scarier.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was like double. That's why this one, like, they had to be like, you can't come unless you have this invite, or like, we know you.
Yeah.
Because there was so many people last time. It was like people couldn't even really do anything. So yeah, they were like a lot more. They cracked down this time, but yeah, still it was so many people, and he had that other range done this time. So they were spread out last when they were all at the one. So it was like 400 people there just at that the one range. All pretty much all creators too, like just like creators and maybe like their few friends or like their girlfriend or whatever, but like almost all some kind of creator or a famous person. I was like all the UFC fighters and all the wrestlers that were there. Like like I got to do a video with Undertaker. Oh, that's a fun one. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Undertaker more recently, and even that's wild. Like I've been like helping get deals for his podcast, and like I'm like so I work with Nine Line. And one of the main guys from Nine Line is who runs Undertaker's podcast. And like, Nine Line does like all of Undertaker's clothing and stuff like that. So like, I'm like becoming in that group with Undertaker, and I'm supposed to start going to Austin whenever my friend is in, like doing those things and hanging out with him and filming some more with him. Cause we both have our own collection for Nine Line now. So we're going to start like doing more stuff together. And even that, I'm just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like this, like I'm just going to start going.
Doesn't everybody call him Taker?
Yeah. Taker. Yeah. Yeah.
Just Taker.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a musician, Cody Jinks, on. Yeah, it turns out they're like buddies.
Yeah.
And text and everything. So, yeah,
Crazy.
2 people in a row, just buddies with the Taker.
Wild.
Yeah.
And he's just like
crazy.
the nicest guy. Like when we were at that range day, me and him did like 3 videos together. And like, I'm like tingling a little bit inside, like while we're doing it. Cause I'm like trying not to crack up just cause it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That I'm like, cause we did like a face off. And like it's like me facing off, and then I'm at his chest, and then I just like look up at him, and I'm like, oh God, and I like look around, and then it's playing his bell and everything, like the bell tolling and stuff, and then there's like behind the scenes stuff where we're like doing the stare down, and Matt comes over, and he's like, Caleb, he's like, why are you hard? And then Taker's like, he's like, I felt it brush against my leg, but I didn't want to say anything. I'm just like cracking up. I'm like, man, Undertaker's like doing dick jokes with me right now. I was like, this is insane. So,
that's funny.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. You still going for a strongman?
Yeah. Like I've got to go get an MRIs on my leg and make sure like it's feeling a lot better. But I definitely did like at least a partial tear to something like in my groin. So I got to go get an MRI on that and make sure that I don't have to have a surgery for that because it's like still a little wonky. But I got a few sponsors for that now. I'm trying to do the Husafel here within a yearish.
Yeah.
I want to go see if I can't break that record, but I want to do it with the actual stone in Iceland. So it's like, have you like heard about that stone?
Uh-uh.
Like, so to my knowledge and like what I've read about it, it was a part of a goat fence. Like they just used giant boulders and like rolled them together and made like a big circular fence. And at some point they like moved the fence or whatever, and then it became like a game because one of the rocks that was part of the fence was huge, and it's shaped almost like kind of like triangular, like in a way, like it's coffin like, but you can hold it in like an angle, but it weighs like 420 pounds.
Golly.
And yes, and like apparently like the owner of that like farm, his daughter could pick it up.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was like one of the tales about it.
So
but
she's not necessarily like a Twitch kind of girl.
No. Yeah. But back in the day, like they would see like the goats had wore out a circle around that fence. So the goal was pick that rock up and walk the full circle.
Okay.
And it equates to like 60 yards or something. And if you can walk that full circle, you're considered a full sturker, which means fully strong or Viking strong.
Wow.
But Hoftbor, or Hofthor, however you say his name, Bjornsson, he played the Mountain in Game of Thrones. He's who holds that record right now for like 98 yards. He's held it since like 2017, I think. So nobody's even like, there's been people get like 90, but nobody's came quite close yet. So, and that's where he lives, is Iceland. That's where his Thor's gym is. It's all right there in like near that. So I was like, I'd love to like train like and for that specifically, and go over and try to smoke it, like, and just get like, because I feel like I have an advantage because he is so tall. He's like 1.5 feet taller than me or something like that. Picking it up that tall is like way harder because it's like just so much
Yeah,
more
you're
on
top
your back.
heavy.
Yeah. So it's like me being shorter, like I think I might have an advantage of picking it up and carrying it further. So I'm going to see if I can't at least get 100 yards. But if I could do 2 full rotations, that'd be like nuts. Like that'd be like unheard of. It'd be like close to 120 yards.
How far do you think you could take it just right now?
Right now, so I've got one replica right now that sucks. Like it just jacks me up every time I use it because it's just a like metal replica, and the edges are rounded, but they're still like
a little jagged,
sharp enough that it bruises the hell out of me every time I use it. And I can feel it up to like 380. And I can carry that thing. God, I could carry that thing 100 yards easy. But I can't. The size of it, I can't fit any more weight in it right now. So one of the companies I work with,
that's promising.
Yeah.
That's promising.
Yeah, like I feel like pretty. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good about the way this is going. But
I haven't started yet. I don't know how far.
yeah. But because I've not been able to actually practice with one that weighs the weight that I want it to.
Right.
But one of the companies I work with now that wants to be a sponsor of it, they're called Cerberus. And they make like these sandbags. I use their sandbags a lot, but they just created a replica of the Husafell stone in a sandbag. It's like only in their UK store right now, but like the dude who owns it, he's like, once we get it here in our America store, he's like, I'm going to send you one. That way you can really crank it out. And they sent me like a full lifting suit that's like all Cerberus, and it's got like these like sticky like parts on it. So it's like if I set something on my chest, it ain't sliding down my body.
Yeah.
It'll sit
there. So
you
can use one of those.
Yeah. At least to practice him. I don't know if I want to for the real thing, just because like
you don't want an asterisk?
Yeah, I want it to be like real.
Yeah, you don't want an asterisk.
No, yeah. And so, I'm going to, as soon as that's done, and like I get my leg checked out, make sure I'm good to go, going hard on the training for that. Probably a good year because I want to make sure that I am really, really going to smoke it. And then go over there and like plan it out because there's like a lot of my sponsors that are like they've heard about it and they're like, I want to be a part of it. Like one of my supplement companies I work with, and then some gym clothing companies want to be a part of it. Like even like Black Rifle was like, yes, like we want to have something to do with it.
Yeah, sure.
Nine Line wants to have something to do with it. So we're like, I'll probably end up making some kind of big shirt or like jersey of sorts that I wear while I do it. That's got like all my sponsors on it and stuff.
Yeah,
and be decked out and stuff, and then like film a whole video about it, like over the months of me training for it and practicing, and then going. Which this all came about because I want to go to Iceland. Iceland is like my number one place I want to go. I want to go and be there for like 2 weeks, explore, see everything. I was like, I need to come up with a reason like to really go and to like what could I film there and like make something cool. And I was like, I could go try and lift the rock, and then I was like, oh, but what if I trained and try to beat the record with the rock? Like then it's like really cool.
So how long would you be there, you think?
Probably a week or two. Yeah. Just to I'd probably try and knock that record out within the first few days. Get there, get acclimated, check it out, and then try and break it one of the days. Because I could get there and it could be just rainy as hell for a week and me not be able to do shit. Because they say it does rain up there a lot. Because it's in like considered like the highland areas.
Right.
So, that's so I need to be there for probably at least 2 weeks to give myself some leeway in case it is just like rainy and shitty.
Yeah.
But that'll be crazy. Now I would like to plan it around a September if I can. So it probably won't be this September. So we're looking at hopefully next September because that's also apparently when like the northern lights are the most insane there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I want to knock it all out while I'm there. Like I want to see all the coolest stuff and be there for a couple weeks, and that way I can really, really train and just be nuts ready for it, and then just have all this other content that I can make too. So yeah, I'm excited.
Dang,
yeah,
that
dude.
is exciting.
Yeah, could be crazy.
It feels good, probably to have like, I guess, a vision for like a physical goal.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like. Yeah, like the last year, I've gotten like a lot more serious with my like lifting and stuff. So like this is like right now is the strongest I've ever been for sure. I'm a little older now. I'm like turning 33 this year, so like I've got like a lot of things like my elbows suck, and like right now, I like slept weird last week or something, and I've been like having like so much issue with like my left shoulder, like benching and doing anything shoulder related the last like week and a half has been a nightmare. And
Yeah.
I know I didn't do anything, but I remember I slept weird in a bed one night while I was traveling. I was like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
So just recovering. So it's like so stupid. Like I slept weird and now my
Right.
body doesn't work. Like what the heck?
Yeah.
So yeah, just like trying to navigate like the goofy things and like the more serious matters, like the what could be going on in my leg, or like I need to get my elbows looked at. But other, like those aren't things that'll like, even if like, I didn't go until next September, my leg would be ready by that.
Yeah.
So yeah, plenty of time to get everything in order and like give myself a lot of time to train and get strong enough for it. That way I'm like really, really confident in it when I go over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, I got some other questions,
Oh yeah.
like a list of questions.
Okay.
I don't want to call them rapid fire.
Oh, sure.
But if you don't have, if you were to order food standing up, are you tipping?
Yeah, I'll tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I even like if I go to a like the little food trucks,
Uh-huh.
I usually end up tipping $5
Yeah, I
or
feel
something
like a food
that.
truck.
Yeah, because it's a food truck. Like,
Yeah.
They probably want a little
The
extra.
job sucks enough. and
Exactly.
Now you're doing it
it's
in a
hot
truck.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you an extra. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you an
Yeah.
extra couple of dollars.
Yeah.
Most redneck relative.
Oh, my Uncle Earl. They literally
Okay.
call him Crazy Earl. Like my whole life.
It's a good start.
Yeah. He's that's him for sure. He's just like prime redneck dude, but he's like huge. Like that's where I get like my size is from, like my mom's side. And he was just like all growing up, just giant, goofy redneck. He would like, I can remember him like killing deer and then just like throwing them onto his shoulder and like just carrying them out of the woods and stuff like that. Like, I mean, just being like, oh my God, like, yeah, just blood dripping all over him and stuff. And he was just always just cracking goofy jokes and stuff.
Sleeveless shirt kind of guy.
Oh yeah. He had flannels that were sleeveless all the time. Like he would have flannels and cut those off, like that,
Yeah.
and just they were completely unbuttoned all the time. That was like him just walking, almost like a wrestler or something. Like it was like a character.
Like, yeah, something out of a movie.
Yeah. That was him, dude.
Crazy Earl.
Yeah.
What's the wildest animal you think you could domesticate?
If I got me a wolf puppy, dude, that's yeah.
I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah.
You think you could pull it off, though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would love it so hard that like it couldn't not.
It would have
be.
no option.
It'd have no option, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be like, all right, this guy loves me.
You a WWE wrestler that you would want to back you up in a street fight?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very quick answer.
Oh yeah.
Why's that? I mean, you know the Undertaker.
Yeah, I know the
So
Undertaker.
you're going with 316.
I'm going with Austin 316, dude. Yeah, because I feel like if we're in a street fight, I don't think Austin is afraid of fighting dirty.
Okay.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think that's what really matters there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no telling where it's going to go with the street fight. There's not typically rules.
Yeah, there's not.
There's
There's not really any. Yeah, that's what's scary. When you say street fight, I'm like, I gotta go Stone Cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What about like at the school,
A sanctioned
High
fight at a
school,
school.
in the hallway?
Yeah, I'll probably go with Taker then. Yeah, because he,
Okay.
he's got that
Intimidation factor.
intimidation, and he knows the rules and stuff, and he's just powerhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. One band that you could hop on stage and be the lead singer for.
Man, like good.
Whatever you want.
Wow. I know a lot of Lord Huron songs. That's like one of my favorite bands, dude. Noah Kahan, I know a lot of his songs. Dang. Brooks and Dunn, maybe.
Okay.
Some Brooks and Dunn, Diamond Rio. I know a lot of their songs. Those would be fun. Toby Keith, that'd be a fun one.
Yep.
Toby Keith, yeah. I think I might choose that.
Yeah.
Just because I'd love to do that.
Belt some.
Oh, yeah.
Should have been a cowboy.
Mhm. And We Were in Love, dude. Just those two. Oh, yeah.
He'd be fun.
Yeah.
What's the most redneck upgrade you've made to a car?
Most redneck upgrade I've made to a car. Dang. It probably would have been It would have been my truck in high school, and it was a F-150, and it was a big snowy winter, and I had plowed into a power pole. It smashed like one whole front end, like side up, and I just didn't do anything to that for the longest time. But I did take my wheels off and spend like hundreds of dollars spray painting my rims and clear coating them and making them look really awesome, and then putting them back on my truck that was all smashed in.
Even though
like,
the side panel,
the whole front, like the engine bay was crushed up, like the one whole headlight was smashed. Like it looked totaled.
Yeah.
And then I decked the rims out.
But them rims were clean.
them rims were nice. Dude.
Them were clean.
Flat black and some clear coat. It looked sick. One side of it looked really sick. Yeah.
One side looked really good.
Yeah.
All right, I think I know the answer to this, but what's the biggest animal you think you could take in a fight?
It's not going to be grizzly. Yeah, like, I would love to think that. Biggest animal I could take in a fight. God, dude, like a young mountain lion or like a coyote.
Okay.
Yeah, like something that I can pick up. It's got to be something that I can pick up and slam.
Yeah.
Like that because it's going to be clawing the heck out of me. I'm gonna have a lot of wounds, but as long as I can pick it up and swing it around or smash it, like that's a big factor.
Yeah. Kid Rock said a possum. Because you get to a raccoon and they can stand up on their back legs.
Oh yeah, they can hold something. They can hold a knife.
They can hold something.
They can hold a knife.
I think a boar hog. I think I could take a boar hog.
Whew. Okay, yeah.
Because once you get control of any leg.
Yeah.
Have you ever hunted hogs or been around them a lot?
Yeah.
Like while they're alive?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Once
they can't do nothing. Yeah.
If you grab a front leg, game over.
Yeah, they're done.
And back leg, they can still kind of whip
do a little
around.
kick or
but
whatever.
The front leg, you get to that.
Done.
I mean, you could
flip him
almost
over. Yeah.
You could just wait him out.
Yeah.
At that point.
True.
I feel like.
Okay. Yeah. That's very technical. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
So mine's a little bigger than yours.
Yeah. It is.
Right.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks versus Tim McGraw. Who's winning?
Garth Brooks.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because he got that dark side.
Yeah. He's got that dark side.
What was this?
Yeah.
No.
His alternative.
Chris
Gaines. Yeah. Chris Gaines.
You never know which one you're
You
gonna
don't
get.
know who's coming out. Yeah. Yeah, you're fighting both, dude.
Yeah.
He's got those two wolves inside of him, that yin and yang, that are always chasing each other's tails.
That might be a good T-shirt idea.
Yeah.
For him, I guess.
For him, yeah. It's just Chris Gaines and him chasing each other inside.
What's a band that you think is due to have a resurgence?
Dude, they're doing it. Creed.
Okay.
Yeah, I got front row tickets to their concert in September in Austin, dude.
Your dream has.
Oh, dude, it's whenever that was another big milestone. Whenever Scott Stapp started following me on TikTok and started commenting on my videos regularly, like laughy faces and stuff, I was like, this is unreal.
Yeah, I've made it.
The Creed man himself.
I've made it.
Yeah.
Do you do many appearances?
Like if people ask me, yeah, like there's been plenty of times like I've had like companies be like, hey, you want to come do a meet and greet, and I'm just like, yeah, sure. Like, but a lot of times I'm not popular enough for that. Like for me to like plan that out. If a company wants me to come, or it's like when I already work with them, like yeah, sure. But yeah, like I don't think I'm on that level.
Where do you think if you were gonna have, where would your best turnout be for an appearance? What would it be? Like at a gun show or at a what do you think that would?
Yeah, that's you know what? Honestly, like I went to SHOT Show and I had a lot of people recognize me, and it was really funny because we had one day I was walking around there, and it was me, BJ Baldwin, and Brian. What's his name? He has the podcast with
Callen.
Yeah, Brian Callen.
With Brendan Schaub.
Yeah. It was us three walking around, and dude, within like 30 yards, I got stopped like 8 times to like take pictures and like meet people and stuff, and they were both going like, what the hell, Caleb, we're actual famous people. And I was like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. But like I got recognized a lot at SHOT Show, but when I went to the Arnold's in Ohio, like the sports for like lifting and stuff, dude, it was like every 2 feet I was getting stopped.
Really?
And it was awesome, but I was like wow, I did not expect like this much here.
Right.
But dude, it was like, and the crowds were so thick sometimes it'd be crazy that like you're like brushing by people, like trying to squeeze through line stuff, and people would be stopping me in that. Yeah. Like, dude, like, let me take a picture. Like, it was so crazy. Like, my friend Brent was with me, like, you know, my cameraman, and he was like, holy crap. He's like, this is ridiculous. Dang. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, this is the most that's ever happened.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it was at a lifting event, which was
I can
wild.
Having been like a niche within a niche.
Yeah.
You know, like rodeo is even in like the Western industry.
Yeah.
And so like it's very funneled down.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's who I target. So
sure.
like I could go to a rodeo and some people would recognize
sure,
me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think if I went to SHOT Show, like it'd be nothing. Like I don't think
I think because that's like still, and that's why, like, you know, that's why I got recognized there. Like, I don't even do like a whole lot of gun content, but like the people that like my goofiness and see the crowd that I'm running with are also people who really love guns.
Yeah.
Or like also the same thing. It's like, you know, a lot of people see that I like work out and stuff like that, but they also do the comedy stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like
everybody does comedy.
Yeah, everybody does comedy. And it's like, and you're still in that world too, the comedy world. So it's like it would probably be the same.
Yeah.
Because that's SHOT Show's huge.
Yeah.
That's like huge. So like when you go there, like there's definitely people.
That's cool that Callan was there, Brian.
Yeah, man. It was so, and it was the first day I was there that year, I was hanging out with what's the Trump son's names? It's not Eric. Yeah, it's the one that makes guns. He's like cool as hell.
Yeah.
He's like the first dude I met. like I was hanging out with like a company I worked for, and he came over and hung out for a little while. And one of the guys I was with, I had been telling him about this story like the night before, and it was just me talking about like how dudes are in my DMs a lot. And I was just telling him that story, and he was like pissing himself laughing. It was like a gross story. And I was like, man, I was like, this is the weirdest thing. Like, this is my first encounter with you, and this is what I'm talking about. He's like, this is what you're going to remember me as.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, that was just completely ridiculous.
Right. Dang. You got a magic styrofoam cooler that refills with one drink. What's the drink?
Oh, man. Oh. In like 2006 or 2007.
Squirt. No, sorry.
Yeah, I do like Squirt. Amp did a collaboration with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Okay.
And it was called Amp Trading Paint. It was like a NASCAR themed energy drink.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the Neapolitan sherbet flavor. It was like lime, orange, and raspberry energy drink. It was the best energy drink I've ever had in my life. It was like one of the best drinks I've ever had.
Wow.
Me and my buddy, like, we were first getting into like the gym serious that summer, and every day on the way to the gym, we'd stop and I'd buy like 2 of those things. I'd drink one on the way to the gym, and then I'd be drinking one when I was playing games that night.
So you'd go back to it.
Oh God, dude. Yeah. Like I've even looked online before. I was like, dude, I'll pay like I'm not going to get crazy. I was like, but I'll pay a unreasonable amount of money for a case of these things. And nobody has them, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find them nowhere. So
nobody touch this magic cooler.
Yeah, like,
ever. I will kill you.
I will kill somebody if you spill my magic cooler or destroy it. But
would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
I think the tiny ones, the 100 duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
I just stomp those, kick them away.
Yeah.
One big duck, dude.
Yeah, that'd be
just one chomp with smash my whole head.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No
I don't know why I asked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude. Did you even hear yourself when you said
one stunt from a movie that you could pull off?
I'd want to pull it off. Like when I think of stunts, I think of Jackie Chan in movies. And man, I don't remember if it was a Rush Hour movie or what it was. I think he was saving like some like famous Chinese guy's daughter, but he was like, he jumps over and grabs this, like it's like Christmas or something, It's like a giant Christmas tree or pole or something that's just covered in Christmas lights, and he's just sliding down it like the whole time. And there's just lights exploding the whole way down. I just remember it was like so cool, and it was like so long. And he jumps off and like beats the hell out of these guys like as soon as he lands. It was just so cool. Like
First thing you thought,
I was like, man, I was like, I want to do that.
I can do that.
I could do that. I could slide down the thing and then whip somebody's hind end.
Yeah, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, dude. I should try.
Could you successfully rob a bank?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, dude. It's so intense now.
Is this like the celebrity thing? Like you might rob a bank, so you want to like act coy about it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Like I don't know nothing about robbing banks, dude. I definitely like never ever got up with a bunch of guys and planned out a bank robbery.
I don't have any schemes.
Yeah,
schematics.
I do not currently have the schematics to the San Antonio bank.
We got a driver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think Pastrana hangs out?
Why do you think Pastrana's been hanging out, dude? Why would you think that? Yeah, that's all it is. I'm a girl. They're like, you Kelly Francis? I'm like, no, I am a ma'am.
One TV show that you could step into and just play the main character.
Dang. I really love Always Sunny. So like, and it's like 4 main characters. So
right.
like I could take one of their places for sure. Love that show. Workaholics was one of my favorite shows. Love to step into that and be one of those. But yeah, I feel like Always Sunny would be one.
In Cheers, Woody Harrelson replaced the coach.
Oh.
Like the coach dies after episode 4, and then Woody Harrelson comes in. I feel like you can maybe replace Woody Harrelson.
You think so? In Cheers?
I think that would be good.
Dang.
Are you a Cheers guy?
Like I know it enough, but like yeah.
That's an old show.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Best or worst restaurant experience?
Dude, one specifically comes to my mind because I was so angry about it. And me and my girlfriend were like girlfriend at the time. We were on like this big hiking trip. We were in Montana and we were hiking in Glacier and we hadn't ate like forever. Like it was so like most of the day we had hiked, and by the time we got down to like the lodge, that restaurant had closed. It was like a 4-hour drive out of the park. So we're like, well, pissed. Like we're driving out, I guess, with nothing. Then there's like one place that's open near where our campsite was. It's like fancy. It's like so expensive. I was like, whatever. I was like, we have to eat. And I order like some pasta that like was supposed to be like lemon shrimp Alfredo or something like that. Oh my God. It was just like, everything was just like lemon cake. And I don't know why it like infuriated me so much. Like I was so hungry. And it like was just like a lemon cream dessert on noodles and stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I'm just not fancy enough to understand this. I was like, but it's making me mad.
So then you were offended.
Yeah. So I was like, am I just like too lowly to get this lemon shrimp goo that you've brought me? And dude, I was so furious. So I just like ordered. I was like, can we just get like 2 more loaves of this bread? Because they brought this like fancy bread and it was really good. So I was like, can I just get 2 more things of this bread, please? And we just ate like a bunch of bread. Like her burger, like she got, was like way undercooked. It was like a $50 burger. And then like my stuff, my pasta was like almost $100. And I just ate like 2 pieces of shrimp. I was like, this tastes like dessert. I was like, this is dessert shrimp. I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Dude, I was so mad. I was like over analyzing it. I was like I was like, try this. I was like, try this shit. I was like, is this just me? I was like, what's going on? I was so angry, dude. But that's we've had situations like that happen on a lot of our hiking trips because we're like desperate for food and we're in the middle of nowhere.
Just never prepared.
We are never, every time, because we're just like, we're going to go here, here, and here, and we're not going to plan any times. We're just going to go with the wind and see how it goes. And we'll be eating gas station sushi and deviled eggs and stuff like that some days before a big hike, and I'm just like, this was the worst idea. And but yeah, man, so many times on these hiking trips I've just been like angry for like days on end because I'm like, my meal today is like 3 bags of chips from the gas station, and now I got to drive 8 hours, and then we're hiking a 6-mile trail. And I was like, and I'm fueled by Lay's and like some random candy. But yeah, dude, that's always when it's happened. My worst meal experiences have been when I've been traveling like that and just am unprepared and desperately hungry.
What about the best?
The best meal I've ever had, or like best
restaurant experience?
Best restaurant experience. Man, there's so many.
There's so many.
You know, there was nope. This is one that there's 2 that really stick out. Also, they were both traveling. We went hiking in Maine one time, and after we finished the hike, it was because it was the opposite effect. This trail was like a 12-mile trail that like went out onto the coast, and we came back. We head into town, and there was like this fresh lobster place. We're like, hell yeah! We go in there, and they have a lobster Alfredo that they made. And it just looks like a mansion cabin is the style of this restaurant, but it's overlooking the ocean. It's like sunset. We're up there eating. They bring out this pasta with all this like stuffed with shrimp and lobster, and so it was like the best Alfredo I've ever had, dude. And the waves are just like crashing, and I'm just like eating pasta and like the best garlic bread. Like, you know, I'm like starving, so it's like hitting like even harder. That was like probably the best, just because it was like beautiful at the same time. I probably could have cried if I like would have got too lost in the moment. Like I probably could have shed some tears, dude. But it was so tasty and just like so beautiful. I had like wine too. I was like, bring some wine. I was like, I need it all.
I need it all.
I need the whole thing. And dude, yeah, it was like a magical moment.
Have you ever been fired from a job?
No, I've quit quite a few jobs because I was like, you guys suck.
What'd you quit?
I quit my first like real job. I was working stock, like stocking groceries, and it was me and 3 other guys that were stockers, and then they both quit the same day, and it was just me. So like when you have the 3 of you, every night you have to stock the whole store, face the whole store, sweep, mop, and buff the whole store, on top of like carrying people's groceries out or like whatever the front desk might need. It's like something a dude has to do. So it became, and I was still in high school. So like I'd come home from school and go directly to work and then work until it closed, and I like wouldn't get home until like midnight. But I kept that up for like a month, and I was like so tired all the time.
After the 2 guys quit?
Yeah. I was like, and they finally hired somebody else that I was like trying to train. Man, he was like the dumbest dude I've ever met. Like he kept messing everything up, and it's like, I think he had something like going on, but yeah. Dude, he could not grasp anything, and it was like frustrating me, and like I kept getting jumped onto for like goofy shit, and I finally I was like, I'm out of here. I was like, you guys figure this out. I was like, I'm not coming back. One thing that really pissed me off during all that was I had wrecked my truck on the way to work one day. It was snowing so hard, and I was like, hey, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it to work. Because to get to my job, I had to go across like 2 mountains, really dangerous roads. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. It's already like a foot of snow. They're like, well, we really need you if you could. I'm like, all right. Within a mile going down my road, I totaled my truck basically. And I'm like, hey, I call him like, hey, my truck is totaled now. Thank you. I'm not going to make it to work. And they're like, dang, that's rough. I don't know what we're going to do now. Like, they don't give a shit about me, like, totaling my truck as a child. Like, I can't pay for this. Like, now I'm in a predicament because you were like, really could use your help, little boy. And that was a thing that like pissed me off so much growing up. Like a few jobs I had while I was still young, and like them expecting me to come to work when it was like super dangerous out. And I was like, dude, it finally got to where I was like, hey, if you wreck your car, you are the boss, and you make enough to where you could pay to fix it. I was like, I make like $200 every 2 weeks here. I was like, if I wreck my vehicle, I'm f***ed. I was like, I can't work here anymore. I was like, so piss off. Like it got to where like anytime it was snowing at all, they just like knew I wasn't coming.
Yeah.
And but yeah,
which
that
seems pretty fair.
I'm a little boy. I'm just a young boy. I don't even know how to drive right yet. And they're like, yes, drive your goofy vehicle across 3 mountains perilous snow. If you die, whatever. Like,
Please let us know.
please let us know. Tell your mom to stop crying long enough to call us and let us know that you will not make it to work today. Dude, that's just how, like, I think that's how a lot of jobs are.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people can relate to that. They do not give a crap about you or like the dangers of you coming to work. So now they're like, just get here.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I quit that one real quick. After that happened, I think I lasted one more week driving to work with my busted up truck, and then having to like drive home at night.
That wasn't the same one? Same grocery store?
Yeah, it was the same grocery store.
Oh, that's why you quit that one.
Yeah, because
Gotcha.
I was like, this sucks. I was like, I'm just having to drive here in the snow with one headlight at night. I can like barely see. It's super dangerous. I was like, I'm out of here.
What else you quit?
I used to be like a land surveyor, and it was almost a similar scenario. When I first started, it was me and two younger dudes that had been there for a few years. They knew the game. It was really fun. Like, we were chill. We could joke around. We're just in the mountains all day, surveying land mostly for like gas and like logging companies. So we're just in the woods, laying down track, like marking out property lines. It's fun. We're just goofing around. And one of them was like the son of the owner of the company. They always were fighting. He quit. And because of that, the other dude that worked with me had to switch his job role to be the one who stayed back at the office and punched in all the numbers that we took into the maps and made the maps of it. So they hired a dude who had retired from doing this for 20 years. He's like in his 70s. He had been behind the gun the last like 20 years that he worked. Now he's like my bitch. I've only been doing this for like a year, and this old man has to, when you're like, have you know about surveying much? So like, I set my gun up and everything, and I'm taking the shot. This guy, he's carrying a fucking bag full of rebar that you have to nail into the ground.
Yeah.
He's carrying like 20 of those in his bag, like can barely even walk with it on his back, carrying it up mountains and stuff. And I'm just sitting there behind the bag, like watching. I'm like, yeah, go on. And I'm like, I've got like my like walkie-talkie. I'm watching. I'm like, all right, step to the left more, 1 foot to the left, 1 foot to the left. And then he's like so old, he's like trying to hold the prism. He can't even like hold it straight. So I'm like, all right, straight, hold it straight, hold it straight. I'm like trying to take the shot, and it's like the prism's going back and forth the whole time. I'm like straight, hold it straight. And he gets pissed at me, and I can tell he's frustrated. He don't hardly speak the whole time. He's mean. He don't have any kids. He's like, no, I never wanted no kids. And he's just like an angry old man that I have to be in the woods with for hours every day now. And he's like, if we start work at 9, we're working until 6. Like, that's his old man way of thinking. I'm like, dude, we're done with the job at 2. He's like, let's go find something else to do. I'm like, no. I'm like, let's go home. And, but finally, we did a huge job for a company. It took us like 2 months to do. We tracked out like miles and miles of the woods. And from our projected numbers, we ended up being like half a mile off of where we were supposed to land. So that means a lot of shots were took wrong, like bad shots.
Yeah.
Or like nails were put in wrong spots. So like everything was way off. And like we finished that job, and it was like such a relief. Because a lot of jobs we did were just in town, like little property lines, like easy. We could knock out 4 or 5 in a day, just chill stuff. This was like nightmare job. We come to find out, it was like, it's all wrong. You guys are going to have to go back and start it over. And I like, he told me that. And I remember just being like, I'm just like rubbing my face and being like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. He's like, look, it's way, way off. And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, I got like so mad. Like I was like shaking. I was like, I quit. I was like, you guys can go figure this out. It's like he was trying to blame it on me because I was like newer and running the gun. If you're not too good with, like, he was thinking, he's like, were you making sure that you were level every time you were shooting? I'm like, yes. I was like, it's probably the old man who like can't hold the prism straight, and I'm taking goofy shots because he's such an asshole. But like I finally was like, I quit. I was like, I'm not doing that again. I was like, you guys can figure that out. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, but I'm not doing that again. He called me like 2 weeks later, and he was like, hey, just want to let you know, we tried to run that line and it was off too. So I took the guns and got them recalibrated, and it turns out that the guns were messed up, and they were off by like so many yards or whatever. He's like, you guys did it right, but the guns were fucked up, so that's why it was all wrong.
Well, that's big of him to do that.
It was, and he's like, if you want to come back, I was like, no.
No.
I was like,
I'm
cool.
not coming
I was
back.
like, cool. Thanks for clearing that up. I was like, but I'm not coming back. And he's like, all right. He's like, I just wanted you to know, like, that wasn't your fault.
Dang.
I was like, good.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Because I was like, there's no way, man.
Because he could have just ate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He could have. But I was like, dude, like, because that was such a meticulous thing, like setting your tripod up and there's like levels on every leg. You're like making sure it's completely level. And then when you put your gun on and screw it tight, you like, there's like adjustments on the gun to make sure that the gun's level.
Yeah.
You can like flip the monocle back and forth a couple times, let it calibrate. It's like so much crap to that. And like the little calculator that's like controlling it all, and you're like taking the shots and typing in the numbers and like doing all this stuff. It's too much. And so I was nervous the whole time I was doing it, because they're like, all right, well, now you're the one who is running the gun and you're about to take on a gigantic job that's like making us thousands and thousands. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I like thought I messed it up.
Yeah.
But I was like so nervous the whole time that I was doing it that I was like extra making sure everything. I'm like checking my levels like between every shot, like making sure I'm still level.
For sure.
But oh, dude, it was a nightmare. So yeah, I quit that one too.
What other jobs have you had?
Dude, my first job I ever had was when I was like 14. It was just like at the end of the holler I lived at. The guy owned a gas station, and like my sisters always worked for him and stuff. So he gave me a job cleaning the car wash. So like whenever, like after so many months, the pits that the water ran into would fill up with mud and stuff, and you'd move the grate, and you'd have to like bucket all that mud out into like a wheelbarrow and wheel it over to the creek. It was a hard job, and it was scary because like I lived in like sketchy place, and there's like needles and stuff in it all the time. So I'd have to wear like full suit basically.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and it'd take 3 or 4 hours just to clean those 2 bays out, and then I'd spray everything off and just like make it all look nice. He paid me really well, but that was like my first job. It was like under the counter job.
Yeah.
That was my first job. And then stocking at Save a Lot, and then I became like a park ranger.
Yeah.
I worked in a state park for like 2 years, where I was like maintenance, security, and like not technically a park ranger because you got to like go through a 16-week thing for that. But like that was like basically what I did. I was like security and maintenance. One of the best jobs I ever had. So fun. I just played in the woods all day long.
Yeah.
And once I was evening shift, so once I was there, there was pretty much nobody else with any kind of authority on the park. Like it was just me. So it was like I used that power way too much. It was so fun. So park ranger, and then I went to college at WVU, and then I was a bouncer at a club for a while, for like 2 semesters, and I was a lifeguard. So I lifeguarded and bounced while I was up there. And then I continued lifeguarding for like another year, like when I transferred to a different school closer to home. And then I did surveying. After surveying, I worked at Advance Auto, and I worked there for a while, and then I went and worked on oil rigs for a while to pay for college, because it was like I had like all my grants and stuff for college, and then like for one of the semesters I had like a lot of labs, and my grants weren't going to cover it, so I went and worked like a job that was going to pay me a lot, and I went and worked on the rigs for a while, and then did that long enough just to pay for my lab classes and stuff. You know, went back to college. I was going in college for physical therapy the last 3 years I was in school. Went back, started working at Advance Auto again whenever I came back and started school back up. And then during that was when my videos started taking off, and I was making knives. So I was making the knives, and then people started wanting them and started buying knives. So I quit Advance and was just doing knives and videos full time, and then it just became videos full time.
And then Rifle.
And then, yeah, videos since about 2017, 16, full time. Now working with, Black Rifle and We the People and Nine Line and Pit Viper and like all my computer sponsors, all my supplement sponsors, my clothing stuff. Just now it's all just the content stuff.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. We got a bunch of ideas.
Oh yeah,
over
I'm
here.
Excited, man. Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah. So if you got any,
we'll come up with stuff.
Knock them out.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah, dude. Thank you for having me.
Cole said, we'll just do ours.
Yeah. Okay.
You really trust this guy for ideas?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea, Caleb.
That's a good one, Caleb. Yeah,
Maybe.
we'll definitely film that one.
Yeah. If we have time, maybe.
I don't know if that'll fit in the schedule.
Sorry, ran out of time.
Yeah, we're gonna put it right here in the fireplace.
Yeah, the I have no quarrels with that demon. Yeah, that's what Donnie says all the time. Yeah.
What did you do? You got no quarrels with this demon.
The very first one I shared was the what? Who was it? Was it Peter somebody talking to Jesus?
Oh,
with
the
Easter bunny.
Oh yeah. Because I did like stuff where like you go and like where it's either me and like I go and talk to God and ask him questions. But it was like there was one I did. I think I've done a few Easter ones where it was like he comes down and he's like, "Why are we doing all these eggs? What's with the giant rabbit?" Like I know like plenty of other people have touched on that, but like the way I did it with me talking to God and being like, "What are we doing?" Like yeah, that was a fun one.
God, that was hilarious. That was the start of it.
Yeah.
For me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Heck
Well, y'all
yeah.
check out Caleb Francis
Yeah.
on all platforms, even
you.
Twitch.
Yeah.
And look out for his energy drink and also supplement line coming out
Heck
soon.
yeah.
Everything he does with Black Rifle. And by this time this comes out, maybe there'll be some stuff that we did together
Oh yeah.
on the intranet.
Heck yeah, I'm excited, dude.
Last but not least, we end with like whatever life advice you have lived by, something just maybe that's encouraged you.
It's easy. I literally got a tattoo of it like not too long ago. I think it's on this helmet, and it just says "Be good."
Okay.
Dude, that's just like it's easy. It's simple. If you be good and you genuinely are trying to do good in your life, everything is gonna go the way that it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And like I tell that like to my nephew anytime he comes to me for advice. Like he's talking about questioning a lot of things. I'm just like, dude, I'm like, as long as you're trying to be good and be a good person, be nice to people, trying to do good with your life, everything is going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to, and it'll be awesome. So yeah, that's it, man. Just be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes in my head I tell myself, don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Or as Dwight says about Michael, like, would an idiot do that thing?
Yeah.
And if they would, then I do not do that thing.
Yeah.
Just be good, people.
Yeah, just be good. It's easy.
All right.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Heck
Pow,
yeah.
pow.